You need a light.
Alright, as a regular announcement, dinner will be served, don't worry about it, but we're going to have a short talk before that. So everybody is requested to pay attention, inshallah, including the kids in the back, inshallah. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim, alhamdulillahi wahda wa salatu wa salamu ala man la nabiyya ba'da, sallallahu ta'ala alayhi wa ala alihi wa ashabihi. وبارك وسلم تسليما كثيرا كثيرا أما بعد. Respected brothers and elders and sisters, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala had given us the opportunity last night to finish the 19th juz. And in the 19th juz, there are many incidents that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala talks about, but there's a very common theme that goes throughout this juz. And in that, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala talks about two groups of people. Obviously, one being successful and the other being a failure and being unsuccessful. Right? So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala talks about when it comes to Anbiya alayhi salatu wa salam and different prophets, they came with a message. And those people that accepted their message were successful, and those people who rejected their message, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala had taken care of them, and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala had destroyed them. And the message was very simple. So the verses go, كذبت قوم نوح المرسلين إذ قال لهم أخوهم هود ألا تتقون إني لكم رسول أمين. كذبت ثمود المرسلين كذب أصحاب الأيكة المرسلين كذبت قوم لوط المرسلين إذ قال لقومه ألا تتقون. So all these different Anbiya alayhi salatu wa salam, they came. You have Nuh alayhi salam, you have Lut alayhi salam, you have Shu'aib alayhi salam. And you even have, towards the end, we had Sulaiman alayhi salam. And their message to their people was that we are messengers from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, from God, and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has told us to pass on the message that you fear Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, meaning obey His commandments, and you do what the Prophet is telling you to do. Because whatever the Prophet is telling you to do is not coming from him, but is coming directly from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And in that you will find each and every single one of them was mentioned, مَا أَسْأَلُكُمْ عَلَيْهِ مِنْ أَجْرٍ إِنْ أَجْرِيَ إِلَّا عَلَىٰ رَبِّ الْعَالَمِينَ. So to drive the point home, they would tell their people that we don't want anything from you. Sometimes a person does something, a kind act, or he might be doing something of benefit, and the person he's doing is looking, well, how can I benefit out of this person? Or how can I benefit out of this situation? Even sometimes when it comes to people's positions, they do it for their own benefit. Whereas the position should be that how can I benefit the masses? A leader of a country, a leader of a community is not there for his own benefit. He needs to see the benefit of the people that he's leading. Contrary to what's being done nowadays in any part of the world. Right? That's just the system, and that's how things are run. But the system of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and the prophets is a guide for us. That if you are the head of the household, if you are a manager in your workplace, if you're the leader of the community, you don't look at your own benefit. You look at the benefit of the masses and the people that are under you. Even if you're working for a company, you look at the benefit of the company. Rather than putting yourself in front, put others. And with that, you'll find how Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will bless you, even in your own personal situations. Right? So these Anbiya alayhi salatu wa salam and these prophets, they came with that. They fear Allah, obey what we're telling you to do because it's the command of Allah, and in return we don't want anything from you. So we don't want you to give us wealth, we don't want you to give us X, Y, and Z. You're going to get the pleasure of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and Allah will give you Jannah. And that's our hope also, that we are working for the deen of Allah and for the religion. Our hope is from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So all these Anbiya alayhi salatu wa salam, and the verses were all very, very similar. Right? Because Anbiya alayhi salatu wa salam came with similar commandments from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Some varied slightly until the end of Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, but it was all predicated on the command of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and following the deen and the sharia that particular prophet had brought. Right, so now when it came to the incident of Musa alayhi salam, where Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala talks about, and this famous incident we hear a lot of times, where Fir'aun had gathered his army and his people and his magicians. He said Musa alayhi salam has been given this staff and this stick. And it's our belief that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala had given the staff from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and it was a command of Allah to be whatever Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala wanted it to be, contrary to the magicians of that time. So now Fir'aun said, I'm going to show Musa that he is completely wrong, and what I have and the people at my disposal, they're much better, and they are going to be able to defeat him, and people will see, and everybody will see that who the real liar is and who is the truthful person. So now he gathers everybody. And the magicians come on one side, and then Musa alayhi salam is on one side. So the magicians came, they also had something similar to a staff. So they threw their sticks and their staffs. Obviously they weren't from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So they made a slight movement. How they say it's a delusion of the eyes. Right? But then it wasn't able to do much more beyond that. And then Musa alayhi salam threw his. And when Musa alayhi salam threw his, it completely destroyed everything else. Now the magicians, they were a part of that movement of making these things happen. So they were able to completely see between and distinguish between what was right and what was wrong, what was correct and what was false. And they knew that for us, we're just making a delusion of the eyes of people. And when they saw the staff of Musa alayhi salam, they knew and they understood that this isn't something that he's learned and something that we're doing. This is directly from Allah, this is directly from God. So as soon as they saw that, they said, قَالُوا آمَنَّا بِرَبِّ الْعَالَمِينَ رَبِّ مُوسَى وَهَارُونَ. See, something very important, that when a person, although he might have been an enemy of Musa alayhi salam, but when they saw the truth, they accepted it. So when they saw the truth of Musa alayhi salam and his stick, they said, no matter what Fir'aun is going to do, we're going to believe in Allah because now we know what the truth is. It's right in front of us. قَالُوا آمَنَّا بِرَبِّ الْعَالَمِينَ. So now Fir'aun gets wind of this. Then my own people, I sent them on my behalf, and now they're coming back, completely changing their religion. So he said, now I'm going to make them suffer. لَأُقَطِّعَنَّ أَيْدِيَكُمْ وَأَرْجُلَكُمْ مِنْ خِلَافٍ. So I'm going to chop off their limbs. And not only am I going to do that, if I'm going to chop off their right arm, I'll do the left leg. So then the response that they gave, قَالُوا لَا ضَيْرٍ إِنَّا إِلَىٰ رَبِّنَا مُنْقَلِبُونَ. So they called his bluff, as we say. So he said, why are you delaying? He said, if you're really going to do it, go do it. Why? Because we believe in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and we're ready to sacrifice whatever it may be. Because now we believe that there is a hereafter. We believe that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has sent us here for a purpose. And we saw what was true and we've accepted it. So do whatever you need to do. And we are going to be patient because Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is going to forgive us and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is going to give us ultimate paradise. Right, so this was the theme of Anbiya alayhi salatu wasalam, and especially yesterday's recitation that we read in Tarawih, is that Anbiya alayhi salatu wasalam came with that message, and it was very clear. Those that accepted the message, Allah made them successful, and those that didn't, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala destroyed them. And we do Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala gives us the ability to bring up all that's been said. Everybody requested to go for dinner and try and stuff there.